Impressionism has a rich legacy in this country. Who were your heroes growing up?
My heroes growing up. Oh, well, do you know what? This is where I have to confess something. I never meant to be an impressionist. I wanted to be in musical theatre. And there was a show coming up called Little Voice in a theatre, which is about a girl who can imitate lots of different people. It was a film with Jane Horrocks, and she can imitate, you know, all of these amazing people like Judy Garland and Marilyn Monroe and all of these people. And I so didn't want to go back to my day job that I lied and said I could do impressions. And so I had to learn overnight. I went to do the audition and then I got the job. And that's how I got into impressions, and that led to Dead Ringers and all of that. But before that, I guess my sort of heroes growing up, I did love Little Voice and I did think that that was clever. And my heroes were comedians. Dawn French. I love Dawn French actually, and I remember seeing her being Björk and all of those, you know, her sort of caricature-y impressions I really enjoyed. And also I just love taking the piss out of teachers at school. So I guess I was an impressionist, but I just didn't know I could do one for a job. Mrs. Doubtfire, Robin Williams. He was such a talented guy. Yeah.
You just mentioned Little Voice there. So that was your sort of debut in theatre.
Yeah.
Must have been a bit of a daunting experience, but how did that help you to refine your own voice?
Oh, that is a very excellent question, which your carer will not be taking credit for.
No.
That's a really good question. I guess actually doing Shirley Bassey, doing Goldfinger, it actually taught me how to take my voice into that sort of pitch and be able to have a really strong, they call it belting, you know, when you really let rip up there, which I before hadn't been able to do. And for a little while though, it also had the opposite effect, because I was so used to doing Judy Garland doing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, that when it came to a time when I had to play Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, I couldn't find my own voice to do it. So I kept going somewhere, and I couldn't find my own voice to sing it. So that was really interesting. So yeah, it taught me to sing in like more styles and more of a poppy way that I hadn't been used to, because I was trained as a classical singer to begin with. But yeah, also it was tricky to find my own voice because I was so used to singing in other people's. Yeah. And I always think my own voice is nowhere near as interesting.
So again, another bit of a daunting experience, joining the cast of Dead Ringers for 2 series, the TV incarnation on BBC Two.
Yeah.
So many brilliantly crafted voices. How difficult was it to find your niche within that group? And what was your favourite voice to be?
Wow. Well, it was very difficult to find a niche, because they were 20 years older than me, most of them, and had already been very, very established. And I was brought in to play Billie Piper and a couple of the other younger roles. But actually, it happened that, how do I say it diplomatically? Let's just say I wasn't really it wasn't very popular that I was doing that. So in the end, I ended up playing all of the other characters, just sort of like the bit parts, the barmaids and stuff. So I didn't really get to do many impressions.
Okay.
It's very diplomatic.
Josh said we won't push you, but he really wants to know. Maybe that's you deal with that.
You've opened a big can of worms there, Josh.
Yeah. Let's not get ourselves sued or anything.
I'll tell you off air. Tell you off air. But there was a moment when we were going to go and I was invited to go and watch. They were going to play some scenes out and do some in front of a live audience. And I was there with 3 or 4 friends saying, oh my gosh, you're going to see me be Billie Piper tonight. I can't wait. And then they played the scene out and it wasn't me. It had been refilmed. Oof. And the feeling, I was like, oh, and then a runner said, I'm so sorry. We didn't tell you. We should have told you. I'm really sorry. And yeah, that was quite a gut punch moment.
Do you think that happens a lot when people sort of newer people coming into the fold?
No, I don't actually. I don't think it would happen too much. I think there were some egos involved, and yeah, there was a particular person, but it's okay because it's all okay.
Yeah, it's worked out
okay now. It's worked out in the end. Exactly. We all have our own.
Yeah, Josh said if you ever see it, like when you see him again now, you can say, look, see, didn't do too bad after all. So.
I have seen them again, actually, and they were nothing but lovely to me. But it felt really good because we were on the same bill to them do their bit and then me go out and do my big singing medley and smash it and get a standing ovation. And I thought, so yes. Yeah, it all comes right in the end, doesn't it? Hopefully.
Right. So when impersonating famous people, what do you glean from doing such an analytical study of their character? And what's the most striking thing that you've ever discovered about somebody?
Ooh, this presumes that I'm not just looking at YouTube and going, nah, that'll do. Analytical. You're giving me a lot of credit here, being analytical. Oh God, that's such a good question and difficult. What have I sometimes I find that some of the people that have voices that are quite close to mine are quite tricky to do. But I think like the further away, the more different they are from mine, the more I have something to sort of hook onto that I can hear is really different. What have I gleaned? Everybody. Let's all just take a little breath and think about this. Do you know what? I think it also, what I've realized is the bigger a character they are, like Stacey Solomon, I love her so much. I've got a frog in my throat at the moment. Stacey Solomon, she's so lovely. I think the ones that I really, really like, the ones whose characters I like, the people that I love to watch, I have more of an affinity to, are the ones that I think I'm better at. Katie Hopkins, I'll do a little bit of Katie Hopkins, but I hate watching her so much because I think she's such an asshole. And I wouldn't mind saying that to her face, that I don't want to spend loads of time watching her and doing her because I don't feel like she deserves the airtime. So we can do her for like one quick funny line, but yeah, I prefer to spend time doing the voices of the people that I enjoy and I like Stacey, who's, ultimately a lovely person and very funny in her own right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah, but... yeah. I said as well, and if you do someone like Katie Hopkins, it just makes them more in demand and popular than what they were before.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No, not particularly.
Although, let's just celebrate. This is the day we're recording this, on the day that Boris Johnson has said that he's going to resign. I think there will probably be quite a lot of people doing him, won't there?
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. So moving on, you also teamed up with the great Jeannie Yashere for Gina's laughing gear.
Oh yeah.
What were you able to learn from her style of comedy?
We didn't actually get to film together any of those bits. So she was sort of presenting all of the sketches. But I think I've been a fan of hers for ages. I love how confident she is in herself, how outspoken she is, and she doesn't apologize for what she thinks or what she says. And I'm a massive people pleaser. So I think women like her sort of encourage me to not be afraid of having an opinion about things and not being afraid to, speak out and stand up for myself a little bit.
Yeah. 2020, you were a part of the cast for the BritBox reboot of Spitting Image.
Yeah.
What do you think it was about the international political arena which warranted satirical lampooning?
I think at that point, because we were in lockdown and everything like that was happening, and we had all of these blooming clowns in charge, Trump and Boris, and we hadn't had a really good satirical laugh at everything that was going on for such a long time, almost because it was like a parody of itself anyway. Couldn't believe some of the things that Trump was saying or Boris said that just sounded like a joke, but they were serious. So yeah, I think the world was just crying out for something to laugh at and to be angry at, and to take the mickey out of these big political figures. And it just felt like the time was right for then. And it was such a lifeline to me, because we were all locked down and I was here in my spare room in my studio, just sort of twiddling my thumbs and hoping that there would be something that came in that would help me pay the mortgage. And then Spitting Image came along, and it was that feel, being part of that and doing so many of the characters like Adele and Kim Kardashian and all of this massive new cast of characters that weren't around when the first Spitting Image came out. It felt like sort of almost a pinnacle of an impressionist's career to be involved in that. So it was incredible.
Yeah. You're no stranger, of course, to the disciplines of a podcast. But what was the inspiration behind Stars in Your Ears? And combining that scripted and musical comedy with an interview segment is something very original for a podcast. When arranging the interviews, how much is improv?
Oh, so that came out of being locked down. I had wanted to do a podcast for absolutely ages, but it was really hard to pin my band down. They're called Jessington World of Adventures. There are three musicians, Rob Lamont, Michael Ralston and Jonathan Kitching, and we love playing together live. And so yeah, doing the podcast was finally a time when I could pin them down. And my dad had just passed away, and I needed something to just focus on and to pour myself into. And so yeah, I played the dead dad card. They couldn't refuse. And so that's how it got going. We had all this time to plan it and write stupid scripts and do all of the wonderful music and mashups, like I don't know, we have Britney singing "I've got a brand new combine harvester," like ridiculous stuff stuff that we did in our live shows that we could finally record and put down. And I just thought one of the segments in my live show is I love to get an audience member on stage and teach them how to do an impression. And I thought that would be so fun to get a celebrity on and teach them to do somebody else famous. So I guess it was a bit like, it was the Saturday night TV show that I always wanted to make, just in podcast form. But my God, it took a lot of producing. Oh my gosh, hours and hours and hours of recording. And in terms of how much of the interview with the celebrity was improvised, to be honest, it really depended on who we had on, because some people would literally just answer the question or do what you asked in a very sort of formal way, and other people really wanted to play and be open and have a bit of fun. So it depended, and it depended how comfortable I felt with them as well. But yeah, I had some questions prepared, and then some of them went a bit off piste. Just went a bit stupid. It's so much fun.
Josh said when he listened to it, he couldn't believe how you got some of the people to do what they did and sort of open up to it, I suppose. You know, with a little sketch and stuff.
I think you can find out a lot about someone from asking them about their voice and the way they express themselves, and whether they have ever tried to change the way they sound or the way they speak, or, you know, it's a real sort of window into somebody's personality and character. And I'd love to speak to you, Josh, one day about how it is to express yourself and have somebody be able to sort of translate what you say for people who aren't used to hearing you, and what that must be like, and if it's frustrating or I would love to know about that. I find it a really interesting thing about what makes people tick.
Yeah. Josh can't understand himself. Over the years, when we've done quite a few interviews now, like even before when Josh was writing scripts and stuff, we were interviewing people for that. There were times where we'd have to do the interview and then like transcribe it so that it could be used sort of and sign all the paperwork and all that stuff. And there'd be times where Josh would be listening and going, "Are you actually writing down what I'm saying? Because I cannot understand for the life of me what I'm saying." Said he hasn't got a bloody clue what he said. But
I'll tell you what, as well, there's got to be a huge amount of trust there, Josh, for your carer translator person to not make you sound like an absolute asshole. He could say racist things. He could say, "Oh, he just said."
Yeah. Yeah, I have to almost work as a filter sometimes as well. So obviously you guys met at the Leicester Square Theatre a few weeks ago on the set of Gabi's Talking Pictures.
Yeah.
Josh said, hope you don't mind him saying that you performed a live song, which was one of the most astonishing things he's ever seen.
I don't mind you saying that, Josh.
Where you sang Christina Aguilera's "You Are Beautiful" in the style of many different people. How do you go about putting something like that together?
I do what I generally do in life and think I'm going to do that, and then I worry about it. So I often say yes to things or decide I'm going to do things without really thinking it through, and then just have to. But that's how I became an impressionist. But also, Josh, I reckon I could probably fly a helicopter. If you put me in a helicopter, I'm sure I'd know which button. I'd work it out. You just do it. You flag it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Do you want to? You can be my passenger.
You can be a navigator.
Great, that'd be amazing. We'll be flying right into the side of a mountain.
Organised number 10 Downing Street removal.
That's excellent. Do you know what? We'd probably be pretty efficient at that, to be honest.
Yeah.
More efficient than them. I just like to challenge myself, and I like to like Beautiful and True Colors. I like both of those songs, and I wanted to mash them up. And then I just thought, I wonder how many people I can be singing those lines. And I think, I just went for it and divvied up the lines, and I just experimented. It was a bit of a trial and error sort of thing. I didn't know that it would end up being such a showpiece, but I used that at lots of sort of events and things I perform at. It's just a big crowd pleaser because everybody knows. I think it's something fun when everybody knows the song and likes the song, and then you can be all of these different people who are so distinctive and put their style on each line. It's a really fun thing to be able to do. And it's sorry, that was my dog, Brian. It's on YouTube. So if people look up Jess Robinson Beautiful, they will find me. But don't Google Jess Robinson Beautiful, because you might also find the other Jess Robinson, who is an American Playboy model.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, obviously, we'll leave it up to the people to decide.
Yeah, we'll leave it up. We'll leave it up. That it's not me. They're not my boobs. Although I wouldn't mind if they were.
What effect has the lovely Gabi Roslyn had on the direction of your career?
One moment. Pause. 2 seconds. I'm just going to
okay.
put this dog out of the room. Sorry, Brian. You're being a little bugger. So Gabi has always been so supportive. I met her when I went on her BBC London radio show, and then she had me back quite a few times. She's always there and happy for me to come along and talk about whatever I'm doing. And then she just became more and more supportive and got me on Gabi's Talking Pictures. And from there, I met the lovely Lee Francis, aka Keith Lemon, who in real life, by the way, I was not, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I expected him to be like he is on the telly, but he is the loveliest, most generous, humble, kind man. Anyway, he saw me doing my impressions on Gabi's Talking Pictures and asked me if I would come and do a TV show with him. So we've literally just finished filming a pilot of something that I'm not allowed to say what it is, annoyingly, but it was the greatest time. Or I had the loveliest, most fun, brilliant, amazing dream job kind of a time. And that's because Gabi was so gorgeous and lovely. And actually, I'm going to text her a minute and thank her because it was just utterly glorious. I loved it. And fingers crossed, we've got to cross everything that Gabi's Talking Pictures will also hopefully make it onto a TV channel at some point.
When Josh watched it live, the live recording, he thought it would make a great TV program.
It would, wouldn't it? Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So this is a difficult question.
Uh-oh.
If Josh asked you to make up a song about our conversation, what would it look like?
Oh my God, Josh. Well, firstly, it would not rhyme.
So what we'll let you do there is we'll let you go away, book your band,
Sure.
record a song, send it in.
Yeah.
All those things.
It would be, who would it be sung by? Who would you like it to be sung by? Britney, Judy Garland, Lily Allen.
Can you do Barry White?
I can't do men.
Oh well.
Don't misinterpret that, but yeah.
That's the headline of the interview.
I'll do it as Lily Allen and Britney, okay? Okay, here we go.
What about Doc Cotton? No.
No, not Doc Cotton. Don't want her singing.
No, that's true, we don't.
Catherine Jenkins.
Wow. Glorious voice.
Josh invited me onto his podcast. He asked me some terribly difficult questions, but I did my best to answer them. Then Josh and I got into a helicopter and crashed it into the sea. There we go.
Lovely. So, a less demanding question for you, but
sure.
Probably still quite difficult. Looking back at your career, what's your proudest achievement?
Oh God, I think my proudest achievement is still being able to do it and earn money from it at 20 years later. Let's pretend that I started when I was 3. Yeah, I guess it's because I don't think I've got a fave. Like there's, I tell you what, actually winning the British Podcast Award was a great achievement. I felt very, very proud of that. That something so brilliant came out of one of the worst times of my life and lots of people's lives being all locked down like that. And I think my dad would have been really, really proud. So there was that. But also now I'm thinking about feeling a bit philosophical. I think it's the achievement is that I'm still going, that I'm still doing it. I haven't given up yet, even though I've really wanted to at times, and that I can just about pay my bills and mortgage from it. And that I haven't had a breakdown. Well, I have, but not enough to have stopped. I haven't killed myself yet.
Josh said he saw your acceptance speech at the Podcast Awards.
Oh, it was a bit sweary, wasn't it? I didn't know what to do with myself.
That's all right. You know, we always say if in doubt, just say fuck it and walk off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's next for Jess Robinson?
Well, next is going to the Edinburgh Festival. So I've got a brand new show called Legacy. It is basically a musical that I've written, which involves lots of impressions, some deep fake technology, which is when you can, well, I can't, but some very clever people are putting Olivia Colman's face on mine, and I do the voice, and it looks like it's actual real Olivia Colman. Oh gosh, just speaking, Josh, very nice to be on your podcast. Oh, it's lovely to be here. Yes, so Olivia will be speaking part of my show, which will be lovely. And I'm going to be using some face filters, like sort of Snapchat filters. It's all original music and a big comedy show. And I'm going to the Edinburgh Festival with it from the 23rd to the 28th of August. It's a long time to be away from Brian the dog and my husband, but mainly the dog. And I've got a few previews in London at the end of July. I don't know when this is going to come out, but if any of your listeners are thinking of going to the Edinburgh Festival, then come and see me, buy a ticket. And yeah, that's what's next. Fingers crossed that it sells out and we have a wonderful time.
Lovely. Well, that's all our questions. Josh, did you never know there might be some nerdy guy in a wheelchair in the audience at that Edinburgh gig?
Are you going to come to Edinburgh?
Well, thinking about it.
Oh, do it! That would
Give
be
it a go.
amazing. That
Yeah.
would be great. You'd be very welcome. I love nerdy guys in wheelchairs.
Don't they all? Don't they all? We'll have that one as a quote as well.
Absolutely. Please do. Let's cancel me.
Don't do that. I love nerdy guys in wheelchairs.
Yeah,
Right.
that's my niche audience.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks very much. Thanks for your time.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a wonderful day and week and month until I see you in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Don't fly any helicopters without me.
No, we won't.